And we're back, and guess what? For the final February, because basically the month is done, and with that being said, it is a special day. Hello and welcome to Mahala Monday. My name is Dougal. As always, Rhoda is here. Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome everybody. Hello Dougal. Yes, welcome everybody to Mahala Monday. Time for us to basically have a nice conversation and just relax with us.
Yeah, no, that is. And it's going to be a fascinating one tonight.
It is totally fascinating, and there's a lot of things that a lot of people talk about, and you know what? And some people kind of stay clear of it, and some people is actually very much involved in it. So yeah, good topic.
But the one thing I would say with tonight's topic, it touches everybody from all walks of life. It is certainly something that everybody, regardless or where you find yourself, but the awareness around it is certainly profound. Profound, to put away like that. But other than that, you are absolutely good.
I'm good, Dougal. I mean, it's just extremely hot at the end of the day.
There we go.
But yeah, I've been good. Yeah. Other people say there's a reason why, but I don't blame it on the age. I just say I'm hot.
I blame it on the age. Now, for what it's worth, of course, it is an interactive show, and we look forward to your contributions, your comments and questions. And we certainly look forward to it. So definitely get involved with this one, because there's a couple of questions I want to ask you, and we're going to try and address it. And of course, give you the scope of what we've been doing. So today we're going to talk about NGOs. And the reason we're doing that is because today is, and I don't want to say the birthday because that's not what it is, but it is sort of NGO Day, if you will.
NGO Day, that's right.
If you will. And this is throughout the world.
It's throughout the world, so it's not just here, it's everywhere, you know, and it's actually quite good that it does get, it gets discussed. It has to be something that has to be spoken about, because this was something that was running around, especially through the COVID time. I mean, there were so many NGOs out there that was doing so much, and one of the things we always do here on our show, Dougal, on Mahala Monday show, is always highlight the good stories. And you know what's happening out there, what people is doing, because there's a lot. I mean, we've done so many interviews, and I mean, just offhand, we'll probably just mention a few tonight. And I mean, if we had to mention everything, I think it'll be in here probably another 2 hours, but I don't think everybody's got the time out there. But a lot is being done out there, and these stories needed to be told.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna show you, and we're gonna try and reminisce. We're gonna have a picture on too, and try if we can remember it. Because as you've been rightly saying, over the past couple of years, really, we've interviewed not one, not 10, but lots. And that is the essence of the show. People who make a positive difference. But this is where we want you to come in, because and we want to get a conversation going around this. Today is NGO Day, okay, and it is NGO Awareness Day throughout the planet. Now, in other places, this is huge. You know, this is maybe celebrated. It has got a level in terms of awareness days. With us in South Africa, I got to be honest. Up until a week ago, me personally, I never knew about this day, and so last week, when we said this is the show because we're going to do, because it's NGO Day, that is when I found out it was this day.
Exactly.
So just to give you perspective, okay, so that is what we want to talk about. And I want to ask you a couple of questions. And Rhoda, I want to get your opinion on this as well, and let it mull. Are they needed, firstly? Is it important? Do we think that having an NGO, having an NPO around, and we all know what it is, and I will try to give my definition, is it needed? And I'm asking you as a viewer as well. Do you think, or do you go, oh, it's a waste of time? Let's have an honest conversation about this. Let's have an honest conversation. Is it needed? Is it more needed? And I mean, we can all assume the obvious, it is more needed. But truly, do you buy in? Do you find NPOs and NGOs trustworthy? Do you think it is worth your while? Let's have an honest conversation. And even if you are involved in one, and let me just say, and preface this by saying, all those people who are involved, it doesn't matter at what level they're involved, you do amazing things.
Oh yeah.
So with that being said, if you are part of it, do you have the motivation to carry on? Is it a bitter day sometimes? is there a need from your side? And we're going to highlight some of the ones that we've spoken about. Now, the reason we're doing this, and let's be very honest, okay, so Mahala Monday has been involved with all of this for a long time. Now, of course, this is from the backbone of the For Humanity projects, which is what the show is all about. And you yourself said, that is what we do. We highlight these amazing stories that needs to be told. You know, it is about inspiring people, how easy it is sometimes to achieve something. And it is celebrating the heroes, just normal, everyday heroes. From small acts of kindness to big NPOs and NGOs, and that is what we do. So that is with the backdrop that happens with For Humanity projects. And the Mahala Monday show, the show that you know, is very much part of the For Humanity projects. In fact, this is the media arm of the For Humanity project. So For Humanity projects is the base, the organization that everything goes through. Am I right?
That is right. Putting out the good news and just getting involved with the communities, getting involved with the NGOs, NPOs out there. And then, like, you know, the arm of basically the For Humanity, which is the Mahala Monday, is really also born from COVID, obviously, just to get the information out there, get everything out there, get the help out there. And, you know, there's our details on the screen right now. If you want to get involved, if you want to find out about any project, because like we've said, we've seen and done so much. And, you know, we've got good places that we know of that you can get involved with, that's legit at the end of the day, that we've also had a look at, and we can gladly refer them, you know, if you wanting to make a difference as well. So you can get in contact with us.
So in terms of definitions, just to put NGOs out there, okay, these are the organizations that do amazing things, and they kind of move everywhere, and normally a very specific challenge in society that they focus on, likewise with the NPO, and it's always a case of you mixing the two, right? So NGO, non-government organization.
Yes.
Okay, NPO, non-profit organization. Then there's a NPC, which is non-profit company. All right, but and just to be clear, these are organizations that specializes in charitable work. But I want to be clear that that is not the definition you got to define it by, because they do so much. But normally, just for the layman terms, just to understand this. This is like people who try and make a difference. Now, the reason I've asked you to think about this quickly, because it is a bit of a point of contention, and let's not mince words here. Let's get straight to the meat of it. Donor fatigue is something that is proper. We all know we have a little bit less than what we had last month, last year, let alone 2 years. You have a little bit less. Your increase hasn't been the same. Yes, and you've been making a difference in some sort of way. Now, when donor fatigue comes in, it is like there's a sense of people, and because of our involvement with For Humanity, let's talk about that. Do you ever find that donor fatigue kicks in? It was like, yeah, I gave last month, I gave last week. I've given. I've given.
There's that hesitation, Dougal. You really struggle. I must say there's a struggle. And I myself can't say at this point, is it because, like, you know, a lot of businesses finding themselves in a position where can they actually budget for this? Can they put it in for their financials? I mean, the financial year is coming up now again. A lot of financial years are coming up now. And where a lot of companies are finding themselves right now, I think is, what I'm kind of feeling is they would love to, but they can actually not afford it. Because you're sitting between a rock and a hard place. Do you see to your staff? Do you actually see to an NGO, NPO, whatever, NPC?
Or a cause.
Or a cause, you know. So it is a bit of a difficult one. And me personally, and I'll be honest with you, and we're having this conversation, is the fact that many times when I actually see an NPO, and I think this is a lot of people out there, and I'm trying to give some advice here, don't take it by heart, it's up to you, but you always kind of look at the person that you're actually giving the money to. And I think you need to look at, are you spending it on the people or yourself? That was my biggest fear. It was always a case of, are you driving this, or are you putting it in your back pocket? You know, there's that whole, if I'm going to give you what's going to happen. And I must comment and compliment ourselves. Whenever we get involved with an NGO, we always tend to do our homework. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, do your homework. And just find out a little bit more about, you know, who you're going to be giving the money to. And I know everybody's finding themselves in, like you say, donor fatigue, but people we still need to give. I know it's not easy, but sometimes you just need to give your time in many cases, you know.
Look, Rhoda, here's the thing. When we look at the NGOs that we've spoken with, these are problems that are not going to go away.
It's not.
So let's cut straight to the chase here. They'll never go away. They're never going away. They're never going to get away because of the bad human behavior, that thing that exists within us as man or people. These are the, how do I put it, the collateral damage of bad decisions and bad behavior.
So true.
This is what it is. So the work of these organizations are always going to exist, whether they work with the youth, whether they work with the elderly, they work with infrastructure or whatever, or when it's just disaster relief. I mean, it was well documented over the past while over the mass media as well. The brilliant organization within our shores that have gone up into the Middle East and Mediterranean area to help with the immediate relief there. And although their footprint is vastly throughout the world. So there's a big need for these organizations. So you can't argue with a way. The one thing you can do is you got to look at their track record, like you said. You got to look at the trust. But the one thing that is more importantly, what companies also got to realize that, isn't there the tax incentive or something?
Definitely in the donation side as well. So there is, kind of, like you say, it's a catch-22. You can still claim from your taxes, obviously. So
you have that.
Yeah,
and for too long, I mean, we say things like, we can't wait for government and all of that. Yeah, you can't, because I mean, government works at the pace of 1952. Do you know what I mean? That's where they are. Let's be honest. In 10 years from now, they're going to catch up to 1960. So. Government works at a very different pace, and we understand that it's because of the way things are set up. And with these organizations, they focus specifically on something, and they go in there, and I think it is important. And we've got a wealth of library, and it is really for you to get involved in. So what you can see on screen now is, of course, a picture with one or two people you will know. At the bottom right of your screen there is where you will see Jason Falcon, who is the CEO of the Tygerberg Hospital Children's Trust now.
I think he even feels like family, because, I mean, we've had him on so many times, but because we're passionate about it.
So, and this, what the Trust does is they help and facilitate the little ones that, especially with premature babies that need to stay there for a while, and the amount of patients they look after is huge.
Unbelievable.
Huge.
Preemie babies. I mean, wow. One of the things that they do as well, and I mean, we're always promoting the Preemie Month, where they really just punt for the preemie babies. And I mean, he told us the numbers of how many premature babies get born. It is huge. Guys, it's unbelievable. You need to go and watch a show. And it's one of our shows that I thoroughly enjoyed.
It's an emotional show.
It was an emotional show. I mean, coming down to milk even. I mean, they needed milk basically, where they were getting mothers to donate milk for these babies.
Huge.
It's huge. It's huge.
And it is absolutely huge. So definitely go check it out. And we've been highly involved with Jason as well. And this is the kind of role they play. But it comes from all walks of life. Because on screen you can see now, which is a very famous picture, of course, from the mother city. A very, very famous picture, because you see what is called beach boxes or beach huts or whatever it's called. But it is the beach huts. And of course, there was Angela Gorman there. Now in the center there between Rhoda and myself, that is Carl Weber, which is a very well-known Cape Town comedian, very dear friend as well. And the Beach House Trust set out, and the Angela story was very simple. She and her family walked on the beach, saw the state of it, and thought, you know what, as a community, we get involved. And this is a person, an individual within the household, and then just rallied the neighborhood, as it were. And the neighborhood started this trust, and before you know it, there's a whole revamp done throughout St. James, Muizenberg. And we're looking at about, I forgot the number, 60 odd, 70 odd, whatever, of this, and the city got involved, and it looks glorious. You see them on every ad now. It is all over just print media, newspapers, movie shoots. It's everywhere now, because it is something.
Racing as well, apparently.
Yeah, because everybody can be proud of this. Everybody can be proud of this. So this is local people that have made the difference. This is what it is about. So that is one of the joyous ones.
It is. It was. I thought I enjoyed it. The fact that we did. How long was our? Were we on site?
Yeah, we had to talk for 6 hours.
Was it 6 hours? It was long.
Not our fault, our producer's fault, but be as it may,
but it was for a good cause, too. It was for a good cause.
And it was. And the awareness was created, the funds was created, and you got to help. You know what I mean?
You have to help where you can.
Get there.
Exactly.
Actually, just going back to the Beach Hut Trust, this is where the For Humanity and us, with in terms of the media arm, worked well.
Worked very
Because
well.
as a media arm, we could take the show there, we could do the live broadcast, we could really do this. And this really spiked and got the awareness in with what in the telethon that happened that specific day.
That's right. It was interesting.
So it was wonderful to have a media arm in there. And actually, before we go to the next one, I actually want to bring in this as well, because we often spoke about this, and it's something a lot of people hear: collaboration, working together.
Wow, that's so true.
And this was super important. You see, for us, it was easy because we can do that. That's what we do.
Exactly.
But the other guy could do something else.
Yes.
And the other person did something else.
Networking, video, cabling. I mean, there was a lot of people involved and different companies, you know, and that's exactly a good example of collaboration.
And then everybody got together, did what they do best, and literally, I want to really stress this, that problem of the huts looking bad and falling apart, it's gone now.
It's true.
It doesn't, it's not going to exist anymore, the bad side. It might still be in construction, getting it fixed. Maintaining it will be managed by the trust. All of these things are once people got together.
Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't it simple?
Simple.
Oh, and you remember this one?
I remember this one. Oh, wow. It was quite emotional. And I mean, this was for the street Kulenburg Safe Space, which was for the people that was living on the streets. And just having to chat about this as well, it was quite overwhelming, because I don't think people realize how many people are actually living on the street. And I mean, just driving around in our area, even if I look at just my area, there's constantly little places or little shacks or little tents popping up. And I don't know about you, Dugo, but does it seem to you like the people out there has actually got a bit more on the street?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just see it looks like it to me.
Look, and I think it's a challenge. I think it's a sign of the times. You know, we all know things are harder now. I mean, bread is a lot more than what it was. Can you imagine the rent? Can you compare that to your increase you would have had? So, look, when things go bad, let's be honest, the people who have don't suffer. The people who are on the breadline are in the glory.
Exactly.
The only thing, when you live in absolute poverty, your only saving grace is death. Because that's the only thing underneath you. If you fall from a level of, I get by, I struggle through the month, I'm a breadline, I'm under the breadline. When you have nothing, the only thing here is death. There's no net.
There's no net at all.
And that is absolutely the definition of absolute poverty.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, we live in a lot. So yeah, that gentleman when we spoke to with the Kulenburg Safe Space, they do amazing things. Oh, and this is Ian, isn't it?
Ian, yes. Oh, what a funny and busy gentleman. And I take my hat off to him. I mean, he's got this little vehicle that he keeps on putting on his Facebook, and I'm always watching him still on Facebook. He's got this little car, and he just stuffs it all with potatoes and breads and everything, because they basically supply food, you know, to the needy. So I take my hat off, and he does it to his best of his ability, you know, with his team at the end of the day.
And that's with Siazana, is it, Rhoda?
Siazana. Yeah.
That is it, and they do amazing work in the community, which is brilliant. And there's you don't need to be an organization to do this, because this is still coming. Surprise, Rice. I know of a person who feeds about 400 people out of own pocket every weekend, and only gets it around by just getting all the chommies together to bring a bag of potatoes. This one is bringing chicken. People bring 400 people are being fed every Sunday lunch. How's that?
Where's this?
Oh, yeah, in Cape Town. I don't want to say too much.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah. It's not an organization.
Are you serious?
It is basically just people getting together and feeding the people who live around it.
Oh, wow.
Nothing. I've been doing it for the longest time. Nothing in return. Nothing, not expecting something.
Wow.
Just tired of seeing people hungry.
Hungry. People are hungry, Dugo.
Just tired of seeing people hungry. And at some point, you're like, okay, I need to do something. This is what I can do.
One of the places I'm just listening to you now, and I don't know if the producer can jump to that one. Oh, the Hubert's got the comment for us there.
Oh, what does Hubert say? Oh, Hubert says, For Humanity can support your work in a number of exciting ways, whether on a For Humanity partnership or on a basis or on an ad hoc basis. A partnership with a For Humanity will have something for both parties. And that is exactly it.
Exactly.
It is, as Hubert always says, it's the conduit between getting you with where you want to be and whatever you want to facilitate. Or help facilitate. Albert Einstein said, only a life lived with others is a life worthwhile.
So true.
Yeah. Do you think he has these just on like call?
I think he does. He's so brilliant. I love him. I just wanted to jump quickly to, we're talking about feeding and, hunger. One of the places that we were recently at was Nebo. And I'm thinking of those kids. And, you were talking about hunger. And this was a classic example of kids coming to school as well, hungry.
Yeah.
And that the school was basically helped by the Breadline for Breadline Africa, that helped set up a kitchen to feed these kids in the morning. And we were there. I enjoyed it.
This was last week, wasn't it?
This was last week.
Yeah, I wanted to say I remember, but because we could talk about this at length, because exactly what Rhoda is saying, and that's the gentleman who's sitting there with us. From Breadline. That is a sample of the food, the lunch that they have. So it's like breakfast, and then there's the snack and the lunch and everything. There's the auntie who's making chow and all of that. And Breadline Africa, what an organization. Their footprint is huge.
Yeah. Yes, and the fact that, they basically look at the infrastructure, the structure of the building, looking at new ways to actually have new kitchens set up, and then partner again with Grand West. And what's the other feeding place? Peninsula
Feeding Scheme, I think, yeah.
And they supply the food. So here's 3 companies collaborating to make that a success. Wow, there we go.
Yeah,
that's our gentleman.
And then the gentleman from Peninsula Feeding Scheme, which we also spoke to. And once a year they have this huge fundraiser where they do things, which was called the Blisters for Bread.
That's right, Blisters for Bread.
Memory serves.
Yeah.
That's what it was called. But just coming back, this is now exactly in line, what we're looking at now, which is Peninsula Feeding Scheme, in line with Breadline. So Breadline specializes in getting the infrastructure there, the kitchen and all of that.
Yeah.
And this is the most amazing thing when you do something. Alternative building methods is being pushed from a Breadline perspective on a pace that you can't even believe, which matches the actual building sector, I would say. Looking at sustainable alternative methods.
Yeah.
Because this is it. Do you know what I mean? And I actually want to tell you this quickly. I know it's a bit of a footnote, just a bit of a side jump here. We had an argument once where somebody said to me...
Not you and me.
No, it wasn't us.
Okay.
Somebody said to me, and it was the comparison between Africa and being African. And, let's be honest, there's people in a certain part of the world, and I'm not shy to say, I'm really not shy to say, because I'm a person of color, when there's color issues here, and I don't want to bring it up, you know it. You know what? Here's a white thing. Yeah, my earpiece. Yes. All right. Yeah, my ears. That's why nobody can talk to me. But it's better that way. I talk to myself. Now, the thing is, as a person of color, you recognize, and let's say racism, right? If you are of a different sexual persuasion, you recognize discrimination because you are used to it. I don't need to explain it to you. I can see it, taste it, sense it, right?
Yeah.
When people are misogynistic to you as a woman, you know it. Yeah. You already know that you've been on earth too long not to know it.
Exactly.
Right? Now, it is exactly the same for all of us who live here, regardless of your creed, your skin, religion, none of this. So it is always this thing where you look at the developed world and they think they're better than us, right? And this was the argument, and it comes back to, now I'm making this longer than I should. This comes back to the argument of alternative building methods, what I was mentioning with Breadline. Somebody said to me, yes, but you are the dark continent. There's nothing happens there. It's tickets, it's the dark continent, and the dark, the development is useless, and blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest. We've all heard the sayings, a boer maak 'n plan, and this one knows and that one knows. We've heard this. These are very true things. It is true in so many levels. When you live in the lap of luxury, there's no development happening. It is referred to the dark continent because we are busy. That is how you got to look at it, because constantly reinvention is taking place. Constantly innovation is taking place. Constantly finding a solution for problems that is here is taking place.
It's taking place.
That is why
Something
it is
is
called.
being done.
When you, Rhoda, if you're being catered to, if you got constant electricity, constant water, constant service delivery, what are you doing? There's nothing for you to do. You there now, leka. But when you have none of that.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. So even with Breadline Africa, when they operate in a space trying to get kitchens built and we're talking professional level in terms of prepping for kitchens and all of this, they look at alternative methods. Oh boy. What a level. Definitely one for you to go check out. Yes. Definitely for one. And also Grand West being so involved.
Exactly. Very involved, you know.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of corporates getting involved. And that
Partnership.
So it was a collaboration, and you know, but even having to chat to them at that interview as well, because we had Chrissy there at the interview, and she said the Grand West as a company was putting back into the community, and I mean that was like a short distance away from Grand West, and you know, it really impressed me the fact that they could put back, and this is what it comes down to, Dougal. If you are corporate and you within an area, the people that's working for you actually live in a lot of areas that actually needs help. So you also as a corporate needs to put back into the community, and this is exactly a good example where Grand West does it perfectly.
So let me tell you this, because of the school here, because I don't know if this was in the show or this was just back behind the scenes chats, but I don't care, I spilled the beans, no secrets here. That school was going to be closed, man, because they only had like 100 kids or something silly, right? It's within a community where a lot of help is needed. That school, because of the leadership of the school, and let's be very honest, it is the actual leadership at that school that have turned things around.
True.
Because of that leadership, we had the foresight to get the right people involved, collaborate with the white people, and prove to Breadline Africa, the Grand West of the world, and whoever else, this is what we're doing. Just guide me. What do I do next?
Exactly.
This is what we're doing. Leadership. That school is one of the most sought after schools. Within a handful of years, it has gone from being on the verge to closing to being the model for everybody else.
Exactly.
That is what leadership has done there.
So true, so true.
And I can't remember, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was part of the show or because somebody told me behind the scenes that, yeah, we were going to close or blah, blah, blah.
I think
but
it
I
was
spilled
part
the
of
beans.
it, yeah.
I spilled the beans. Now we all know. Now we all know. And this is another thing of Grand West being super, super involved. The only thing you can say is if you look at a corporate, if you look at an organization that truly want to make a meaningful difference, then I don't think you're gonna find anything that is better.
Yeah.
So on the photo there, of course, this is a socio-economic development project which is called Chefs That Care, which was actually the brainchild of the chef there you see in the picture, which is Mishka Solomons.
Mishka Solomons. What a fabulous person.
And literally it is chefs going around and they cook. Everything from the youth to the elderly, they're involved in levels you can't. Like all the big days, from Christmas to Easter to whatever food, they're there.
And in their busy schedule, because chefs are extremely busy people. I mean, they don't work normal hours, they work odd hours.
Rhoda, this is the best thing we've ever, you've said now. These are people who work 10 hours a day. You can't tell me now I don't have time.
Exactly.
These are people with families.
Exactly. Families, they got family lives, and they still seeing to other families as well, besides having to do their work as well. I mean,
you can't tell
Mishka,
me you don't have
you.
You can't tell me you don't have time.
Exactly.
That's normally an excuse. I don't have time. These people work 10 hours a day.
10 hours a day.
Already.
Yeah. Exactly.
Already.
If not more, Dougal.
Yeah.
She was, I know, just chatting to Mishka at times when I see her, I mean, she's constantly working. At events, at functions, you always see her there.
So you can't say that there's no time. Anyway.
So true,
so they do absolutely amazing things. And once again, they busy with youth. It is with the youth that is where it is. That is where the focus is, and the foundation phase. The same with Nebu, with Breadline Africa. It is with the youth. This is what it's about. And then, yeah, man, if ever you're going to cry.
If ever you wanted to cry, you need to watch the show. We are Hannah's Place. I mean, wow, it really, this is babies. This is kids that's just newborns that's just been born. And the circumstances that they obviously have to be taken away from their families. I just take my hat off for Hannah's place, and you know, just having to make the space available for these babies to be able to be taken in and not dumped on the street, not thrown in the bin, or you know, dumped in the field. That this facility is available, and I do believe this is in Mitchell's Plain, if I'm correct, Dougal.
And the backstory of this was so remarkable. But I think you're right. Yeah, that's where they operate Mitchell's. The backstory is a woman who had a thriving, very successful, very rewarding career, which was doing well, flying everywhere
around the world
in a job that what she was doing, and then just realized, oh, that's not important. Look at this. This is important.
Exactly.
Left everything. I want to stress this. Left everything. The comfort of life, well, not the comfort of life, but whatever she had, left all of that, went like that, and said, this is more important. And today that place is...
And the name comes from a little girl that she basically adopted as well, Hannah.
Yeah.
So, this was one of those ones that was just basically, I think, on the heartstrings.
If ever you want to get involved in an organization and try and assist, let me tell you right now, have a serious look at this one.
Definitely.
Have a serious look at this one. That is what I would say.
And then I think, you know, we're always chatting. I was just going to, even before this came on, I was actually going to discuss this. This is one institution, not even institution, this is a government institution in the Boerland sector that has made a difference within the government side. I mean, two of us always saying, you know, government, we can't wait on government, you know, and which is true. But you know what, this is a classic example where they have gone against all odds and made a difference within the Boerland region, and where they basically went out and said, you know what, let's help the people within the community, in the Boerland community. And depression and anxiety, just listening to them, the passion just came through. I don't know if you, that was something we picked up. It was the passion that these ladies had to make a difference at the end of the day in these kids' lives and the community's lives, just to assist them with saying, you know what, we're here, we want to listen to you, find out where the problem is. And this is one of the things, Dougal, I mean, I think two of us chatted before the show, was the fact that we're always wanting to say, is this going to be ongoing? Is it going to be all the time? And in a case like this, they went to the communities to find out what is the problem, why do we sit with this problem, and rehabilitate the problem and try and see how they can solve the problem, where's it coming from, because it's no use you take somebody out of the circumstances, but once you've rehabilitated the person, that person actually goes back into the system. They go back into that same situation because why? You actually didn't solve the problem.
Yeah.
And this is something they did. They went out to find out what the problem was and let's fix it before the person gets sent back. You know, because that's ultimately the basis of why have we got hunger. Why is the kids hungry? Why is the people hungry? Find out what the problem is and then try and solve that.
Look, Rhoda, I know.
Sure.
I know we say that don't. I'm a big sayer of this. Yeah, don't wait for government; they're useless. I say it all the time. But listen, credit where credit is due. When we say that, we're talking. I'm not talking about people who work for government, and the nurses and the police and all of that. I'm not talking about these people because these people are out there. They cold-faced. They do their thing. Where I'm talking about the higher echelon. I'm talking specifically about the MPs and cabinet and these kind of people who do too little. In my opinion, that's what I refer to, but not about the general people, and also with the foresight, in order to really get into it, to really problem solve, to really network. That is where I have a issue sometimes. But that is it. But they do absolutely amazing work, and credit is due. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, and then Dougal, I think we're going to be finishing off soon because I think we're running out of time now. There was just one person. There we go. I was just going to bring up Stephen Van Zyl as well.
Stefan.
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
Stefan
Van Zyl.
Yeah.
Stefan, yeah.
And classic example of you as an individual that can make a difference.
Making a huge difference.
You know, you don't need an NGO, NPO, whatever. He did it by himself.
And this man did amazing things. So he's a former professional athlete. He was a goalkeeper. But he did tell me he let in a lot of goals. Be that as it may, professional footballer, played in did all the wonderful things, and of course wanted to make a meaningful difference. And he supported organizations like Cancer, which needs very little introduction. And this man ran 12 peaks, 5 peaks, climb over mountains, raise funds while doing it, and then decides to run over a mountain back home and go back to the mountain. And he just does crazy. We're talking like trail running, extreme galore, amazing things. And he has done all these amazing things, and then he raises funds along the way, and that is how you can get involved. So when it comes to NGOs and with people, then latch on to somebody like this, because this is something that hundreds and millions of people can get involved in. So the point is, when it comes to NPOs and NGOs, there's lots of things that happen around us every day. There are lots of things that happen around us on the planet. I mean, comedy relief is a big thing in abroad. And like that's how Red Nose Day started, and all of these things. And it is a huge thing. So there's a lot of ways for us to get involved.
Do they still do Red Nose Day?
Yeah, I haven't known Red Nose Day for a while.
That was when I was a child back in the day.
But let me ask you this. I started off by asking you this. Are NPOs needed more now than ever before? NGOs, are they more needed now? What do you think?
Me personally, definitely do go. I mean,
Is it a bad thing?
At this point, it's a bad thing because which kind of tells us that we're not in a good space right now. Our country is not in a good space, and we need help because we're finding a lot of people, like you said, that's under the breadline that only faces death at the end of the day. So it is needed.
Look at that comment there. Hubert says the sad part of donor compassion fatigue happens because people become desensitized to problems, hardships, and struggles of our communities.
True.
So that is what makes it difficult. That is what, yes, because the problems persist. The problems aren't getting fixed. So you become immune to it. It's your blind spot. It's part of your life. It's part of your being. It doesn't become a problem. It's just part of the milieu.
Exactly.
It's part of the setup. So when it's part of the setup, it should not be part of setup. Let's be honest. All these problems that NPOs and NGOs try and address is created, and ultimately the architect of it is bad decisions and bad human behavior. There's a big difference when it comes to natural disasters because there's a flood or a drought or a heat wave. That's not us. But maybe global warming argument in a kind of is. Doesn't matter. The point is, when it comes to abandoning youth, making sure malnutrition, gender-based violence, all of these things are done by idiots.
Exactly.
That have left their post, and they left their post because they don't longer care for fellow man. That's my opinion. I think it is more needed. I think it is more prudent for us to really be part of something like this. And this is why I say, and you know, an easy way to do it is to collaborate. And I implore you and I beg you, make contact with a For Humanity project. This is what you got to do. You got to do this. You yourself as a corporate, as an organization, as an individual, as a group of friends or whoever, might be thinking, okay, let's make a difference. Look, International Nelson Mandela Day, it's not that far away anymore. It's around the corner, and it's a big day. It's a big day because then everybody is involved. But that's one day. It's not even a day, it's 67 minutes.
That's exactly not
hour.
Even a day.
It's not even a day. Hour. The point is, the problems don't disappear for the hour.
It doesn't.
Do you know what I mean? There's 365 days, 24 hours. They are around all of that time.
All the time.
So get in touch with For Humanity projects. You, your friends, you might have an idea. You might have an idea. For Humanity projects is sitting with a network of organizations where you can get involved in, where you can help contribute.
Exactly.
For Humanity projects are sitting with ideas that you could partner with as an organization, as a corporate. The biggest thing when it comes to getting involved is the matter of trust. Trust is super important. I understand that. We all understand that. In fact, that has always been my issue. I completely understand it. But that is where you got to go with a name you can trust.
Exactly.
Make a meaningful change, like For Humanity projects. And of course, and a bespoke cause for you. If you're interested in trees, then speak to For Humanity projects. And that network of 3 people will come up.
Will
if
come
you're
up.
interested in babies, in youth, then you speak to them. This is what it's about. So if your passion
Connect with
lies
the
in
right
there,
people.
tailor to your passion, and that makes being involved, being part of something a lot easier. And I no disrespect, Rhoda. I know say we need to be socially aware, but if you're not interested in supporting or working with causes that deal with, let's say, the environment, healthy planet, that sort of thing, then don't get involved with that. If you're interested in youth development, then be there.
Be there.
If your skill set is in sports or physical activity, be there.
Yeah.
Because that's where you make a meaningful difference. Don't be what you're not trying to be.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah, and it's quite broad there. Hubert's got something for us again there.
He says, For Humanity can generate resources through fundraising initiatives and community partnerships and use those funds to make an impact in the lives of the broader community. And that's what it is.
Exactly.
Thanks, Hubert.
And I just wanted to say where the For Humanity is concerned, just kind of saying about the directors as well, and why they'll be able to assist is because it's so broad and everybody's knowledge at the end of the day. And this is exactly why, you know what, you as an individual or as a company, not 100% sure how to go about doing things, you know what, we're here. We'll be able to assist you.
Yeah.
Come and have a chat and we'll be able to help you and steer in the right direction as well.
And this is really what it's about.
Exactly.
I don't want to now be, you know, pat on back person, but be that as it may. But I can tell you something. One thing we definitely got involved in thing we've been involved in, if I can use the huts as an example.
Yeah.
It's done, baby.
Exactly.
Yes, and this, unfortunately, this is the kind of project where there is a finish line.
There is a finish.
There's a finish
There
line.
was
Not
a
everything,
finish line.
you know, social problems don't have finish line. How long is a piece of string?
Exactly.
But
It will be
this was
ongoing.
done. And with For Humanity, you get a media arm, and it's a network. It's
long.
and it's trust.
Exactly.
That's
It's more
trust.
trust than anything else.
So NGO Day, we just wanted to highlight it. But the one thing that there's a huge amount of people, and Rhoda, sorry, we touched on. We gave the producer 5 minutes just to get a list. He went inky pinky ponky.
Exactly.
There is a lot more people
So much
and organizations that we didn't even talk
That we
about
didn't
now.
even talk about.
And it's not because we just went, this is,
Yeah, we
'cause-
just kind of
yeah.
quickly grabbed a few. It wasn't really a case of, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot
there's
more.
a lot.
There's huge.
And I would advise you, if you're wanting to go look at some of the shows, actually go onto our YouTube channel and go and have a look at some of our videos there, because everything is there, everything.
Yeah, everything is there. Is that it?
That's it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Must you still make supper now?
Yeah, yeah.
Me too.
I was going to just stay over for a while.
Have a fabulous evening, everyone.
All the best. Remember to like and share this, and thank you very much for those wonderful comments, Hubert. It was absolutely brilliant. But you got to like and share this, and definitely be involved. Be involved within your community, whatever it is. So it is, of course, NGO Awareness Day, and I think we are a lot more aware.
Oh, we're totally more away.
Until next time.
So don't forget to share.
Bye.